Live. Sorry, I just hit live without really checking with everybody. What's up? Hey, how you doing? What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to Movie Night Podcast, episode 135. This is, Bring Out the Dead. Is it Bring Out or Bringing Out?
Bringing
I already
out.
asked you this once. It is Bringing Out. Okay, I typed it right on that thing. That's all I care about because I wrote it Bring. Because I can't even read the DVD case that I personally have sitting on my thing behind me. Anyways, Nic Cage, John Goodman, Ving Rhames, and Patricia Arquette, Tom Sizemore, Martin Scorcese, right?
Yep. That's right.
This was definitely Josh's pick.
Because it's a good movie, or what?
Because it's Scorsese is what I was getting at. But
you picked Scorsese last time. You picked Cape Fear.
We don't talk about that. Oh, I did. That is Scorsese. I forgot.
Yeah.
I retract that pick then. No, so this is a pick from Josh, and I hadn't seen it in a while. It was sitting in my Nic Cage collection. Yep. I remember thinking it was kind of strange, but I thought I liked it okay. Let's talk about it.
I like that.
So who has seen this one before?
I'd seen it before.
Not me.
Oh, great. Chris, you're the only one that was out on the you hadn't seen it. You're the only one that hadn't seen it. Okay, so what did you think?
I liked it. I know it's not one of Scorsese's, on anybody's top Scorsese list or anything like that. It gets kind of middle of the road for Scorsese reviews, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect with it. I went in pretty blind, but I thought it was awesome. Like, it was kind of better than I was expecting it to be.
That's a good thing, though. That's always nice to get a surprise like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like a very under talk. Nobody talks about this title.
Underappreciated would be a good word.
Underappreciated, yeah.
I'd
say
so.
Underrated. I think this is one of his hidden gems.
Yeah, I can see why it's not on the top of because it's really kind of a hangout vibey type movie with not a whole lot going on, but I don't know. Everybody in the movies, yeah, I mean, everybody in the movie's crazy. So I mean, in that sense, there's stuff going on.
Well, I think there's a lot going on with Nic Cage. It's mostly about him.
Yeah,
I feel like it's pretty high energy too. It doesn't ever stick around on one thing very long.
That's absolutely correct. And I really thought Chris was going to say, I liked it. And then that was it. That's why I started giggling because he said he gave us a pause for a second. I actually was just being silly. I really do like this movie quite a bit. This is right up my alley if I was going to this is at the top of my Scorsese list. It's not as high as Goodfellas or Casino, of course, because that's kind of wild. But for personal tastes, not necessarily objectively speaking, this is one that I would go back to probably as often or close to it as those other movies I mentioned. Is far and away not the greatest movie he's ever made, but I like it. It's really in my wheelhouse of stuff. It is kind of crazy. It's wacky. It's zany. It's got people I really enjoy in it. Dude, talk about the casting of this movie. How perfect. I don't think they could have cast this any better than they did, man. From Patricia Arquette to Ving Rhames being who he was. Dude, Tom Sizemore, I'm pretty sure that was just him hanging out. They were like, Tom, come hang out. And he's filming. He's like, oh, I got him in some shots. You know what? Tom's doing a great job.
This might be ultimate Tom Sizemore.
Yeah,
it is
wild. He's
perfect. He's so perfect in this. Yeah.
I was pretty sure he's going to have a heart attack, but I was like, oh, yeah.
Dude, I thought he was going to have a heart attack, too.
There had to be so much cocaine going on in this movie.
Bro.
I know John Goodman was doing cocaine during this movie, too.
Have you heard about that or something? Is that something you'd heard?
Yeah, I think I heard a podcast or interview with him or something at one point, and they brought up this movie, and he's like, I don't even remember making this movie.
That's amazing.
Yeah, this was still pretty in his pretty unhealthy phase. Although he was, always a big dude, but I think it got really bad before he really started to take care of himself a little bit more.
Man, when you're younger and you're getting all the spoils, man, it's kind of hard to reel it in. I imagine that was at the peak of his career, really, because late 90s, dude, he was in Roseanne all the way up until then. I mean, he was freaking John Goodman, dude, and he's probably yeah, come on, bro, let's do this, man.
What year did movie?
Do what?
And in a Scorsese movie.
Yeah, in a Scorsese movie.
And by the 90s, he was in a lot of the Coen Brothers stuff too. You know,
Yeah.
he was showing up in a lot of stuff.
I was going to ask you, do you know offhand what year Big Lebowski came out?
It's earlier 90s.
That's what I thought. Like 94, I think, maybe something like that. 92, 94.
93.
I feel 94, but I'm probably not right.
I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, it's earlier in the 90s for sure.
Because John Goodman was riding high back in the 90s, dude.
Yeah.
Hugh, how are you feeling about this movie?
Oh, it's 98.
98. I was way off. So this is right before this one then.
I thought this movie was probably a masterpiece. It's one of the best. Like, I don't know why the first couple times I watched it, I don't think I was really watching it critically. And then I started really trying to take notes and things on it. And I was just like, dude, this is amazing. Like, there are certain scenes, like Patricia Arquette is talking about, what does she say? Her lip quivers, and I noticed she's kind of saying like, this is what happens, like you get people to open up to you, and like I could see her lip shake. I was like, oh shit, like that was, I don't know, it felt really genuine, really real. And I think it's like a slice of society that a lot of people sort of ignore. It's like the late night, 4 a.m. Brooklyn street corner kind of society. And like, yeah, they seem crazy. Maybe they are, but that's, street life in some places.
That's why I like it so much.
Yeah, to dial in on that, like as a subject matter. And then it has like undertones about spirituality and God and his beliefs that I really want to rewatch it to try and, peel back the layers on it. I was just like, I'm blown away. But before, when I watched it, I was kind of like, yeah, ambulance, chasing people around, scooping them up, dead bodies, I was like,
yeah, it's just a lot of wild shit.
The first time I watched it, I don't think I understood it at all. And I think I was like, I can take it or leave it. And then I just got more interested in Nic Cage movies and rewatched it on that. And then I just got a little older, rewatched it again. I've seen it probably 3 or 4 times. But it's been a long while since I've watched it. So,
I mean, Mark Anthony's in it. He's really annoying, but I've seen him in concert twice. Long story.
Wait, which dude was Mark Anthony?
The guy that wanted water.
The dread guy was Mark Anthony?
Yeah, he kept going into the hospital and asking for water. And
well, I certainly didn't recognize him at all. That's pretty good.
Noel.
Yeah, I think he did a fairly good job. Just, his character was super annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I wasn't annoyed by his character at all because I know people like that, and I don't. I'm serious. Like, this movie. That's one of the reasons why I'll probably always enjoy it, because I relate so heavily to these people, man. Like, I know exactly who they are. I know I've been around them. I've known EMT dudes that were overnight guys. They were not quite like that. They were pretty close, man. I mean, I had a friend that was like a night crawler. He chased people around and filmed stuff, and he worked for Channel 45, and he would get new stuff, and he was always...
I'm watching that movie right now.
Bro,
Nightcrawler.
That's a good movie.
That's a good one, man. But like, so I relate to these people in a way that not everybody will necessarily, mainly because of the stuff I used to do in the past. So I have I can look back on these memories and go, "Ooh, that was me." Like that fool that you're talking about. I mean, I wasn't like that, but I knew a lot of people that were, man. I would hang around them and they would just be out of their mind, dude. And you would say stuff to them and they would say the most insane thing back to you. And you would just be like, how does this person even like come up with that? And then they would do it. Like, you remember how he was like trying to get into the thing and then all of a sudden he was just running away? Yeah. That's exactly how them folks behave, dude. They're on a mission. They're on a mission, and as soon as they think for a second that they're either not going to accomplish it or something else catches their attention, boom, gone. It's just like there's no explanation.
I felt that for Noel. Like, Patricia Arquette's character cares about him deeply, and like knew him before he got shot and is messed up. And so you're kind of like, Noel can't even have a job now. Like, he's totally mentally disabled.
Totally messed up.
He's nuts. And so you're kind of like not worrying about like whether or not he's going to have a future. You're just like whether or not he's going to die in the next scene. Like, you're just sort of like, well, he knows his days are numbered. And like, sure enough, he gets the shit beat out of him. And it's I don't know, man, it's a crazy movie. But she talks a lot about her father and her relationship with her father. And that's like a pretty complex subject. And then she talks about the guilt that she feels when she thinks about her father. And I mean, it's an amazing movie. It's got some pretty fascinating spots, I think.
Yeah. I was looking up. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you're fine.
I was just gonna say I've been doing a little bit of research about it. It's based on a book by the same name, but it was written by a guy who was actually a paramedic, and a lot of the stuff in it is stuff that he actually witnessed.
I'm gonna put that on my watch list on Audible.
I drove Uber for a little while as like a side hustle, and I have all these crazy stories from it. I couldn't imagine if you were an EMT.
Dude, I can't imagine you doing that.
Dude.
This is the kind of movie this is the kind of movie that all four of us having such different personalities. I mean, obviously we overlap some, or we wouldn't be able to be friends for so long. But we could all like this movie for completely different reasons. None of us are going to be wrong or anything. It's just mostly subjective feelings about it, things that you pull from it, things that made you feel a certain way. And a movie like this, like I personally was identifying with Nic Cage. He was in like crisis mode the whole time, trying to figure out what the hell's going on with him. Yeah. And then he sees a situation and he goes, "Oh, I can fix this situation. I can save her this heartache, but I'm doing something gnarly to do it." And so he's like struggling, should I even try this? And like I've been in situations like that. I mean, not quite like what he was in, but you know what I'm saying. I could do something dark and it'll help somebody, but if I get caught doing this, I'm going to be in some trouble. And I think we can all relate to like these crossroads in our lives, you know?
Yeah. You're going to think this is an extreme statement, but I think this is Nic Cage's best role. Like,
I still agree.
Yeah. I think this is the best thing. My favorite movie of his, at least.
Yeah. I think it's his best performance. I think
it's
bro, you need to go back and watch Leaving Las Vegas, Chris.
I mean, there's plenty of Nic Cage movies I haven't seen, but
what this does though is it marries like the Oscar-winning Nic Cage with the the hollow eyes and the subtlety and the mania that he's so good at. It's the right level of both of those things. Like, you get just enough.
I mean, I'm not, it's not far off. Like, I wouldn't say it's far off. This is probably top 5 for me, but I wouldn't call it his best. But it's not far. It's definitely, you're definitely not something I'm going, nah, that's ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. I just, I got to argue with you about it. But,
sure.
There's a part in the
I like how that's just kind of like, that's just how it is. I mean, if I
expected.
I mean, it goes both ways. It's a two-way street for sure. But, yeah. I do think it's one of his better ones for sure.
There's a part in the van when he's having a meltdown and he's pounding down some liquor and the guy takes another call and he pulls a full Nic Cage. And I was just like, oh my God, that's it. Like, you're right. He captures a full spectrum of his abilities, from like loving Cage to life-saving Cage to Cage playing God. It's amazing.
Dude, there's so much of the last thing that you said of that in this movie. Like, it really like gets into the ideas of being a paramedic, saving people. They talk about in his voiceover, but like the fact that you sort of feel like God in a way because you're, saving lives all the time. And
you also have the ability to not save a life. You can just be like, I'm going to stand right here and you're going to sit right there and I'm going to watch you cease to exist. So it is playing God. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, I think that's a good point because that's the end of the movie too. He chooses to take that guy's life.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was doing it for Patricia Arquette, but it's still like he was taking on the pain of having to do that to get her the relief of not having to go through that anymore. And I think that's what actually ultimately gave him the calm that he needed to go
rest.
And just let it go. He's like, I did something that I'm going to take on so I can let you guys chill. Yeah. That's what I needed. Oh, good grief. I'm glad I figured it out. Boom.
Well, he tried to rest at the junkie's house, like at the flop house. He tried to take those pills and rest, and he woke up screaming.
Well, that's when that whole sequence where he's like pulling the ghosts out of the street, like that
was amazing.
All the people that he's, I assume it's all the people that he's seen die, Yeah.
It's like I thought it was all the people that he messed up with and they died.
Right. Yeah. People he feels guilt about.
Yes. Yeah. Whether he messed up or not, the people he feels guilty for seeing them go away. My favorite part, not favorite part of the whole movie really, but like one of the parts I really enjoyed that I thought was funny is when they were sitting at the dock and was it John Goodman? He was like knocked out.
Yeah.
And then he goes, and he's just like, he goes from like dead ass asleep to just driving, bro.
And he starts driving off of the pier.
I was like, yo, that would be me right there. I would be dead ass out, and you'd be like, Randall, wake up. Oh, turn around.
Yeah.
I would have driven us off the pier for sure.
So I'd only seen this once before, and I remember liking it a lot. But I watched it last night at like 11 a.m. I'm pretty tired and a little, I don't know, edge of delirious.
PM?
Huh?
PM?
Yeah.
Okay, you said AM.
Oh, did I say a.m.?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we all knew what he meant when he said last night.
Well, you know, like, late at night, and it was just like the perfect setting for it. And I just totally clicked with this movie. Like, this might have like entered like top 5, or maybe like right on the edge of top 5 Scorsese for me. I think this is pretty great. Like, it has a couple of things that I could nitpick. There's a couple of like 90s things that date it. Like, I could do without the REM song.
I was gonna say the music in it kind of drove me nuts a little bit. I liked some of it, but I hated some of it too.
It was half good, half terrible.
Man, there's like, you know, there's that Van Morrison blues song that they're playing throughout the whole movie, and I love that. But then you get like a couple of like
what
REM.
the frequency can it?
Oh god, yeah.
I heard 10,000 Maniacs, and I was like, oh, 10,000 Maniacs. They're very 90s band.
Yeah,
those go through
the
like
two.
1 month every 3 years, and I listen to 10,000 Maniacs. So like, I love you, Natalie, and then I'm like, okay, bye.
Yeah, I could go without ever hearing those again in my life.
I'm with Chris on this one, dude. I don't ever want to hear that garbage again.
Yeah,
those are like
the CMI.
I think those two songs in particular, I was like, eesh. But I mean, they played a lot of good stuff. The Clash has a couple songs in there. And,
I heard the Clash at least once, and I was like, I just went, ugh. Right. No,
I think I like the Clash more than you do.
I'm pretty sure you do. I mean, I didn't actually do that, but I did think of Josh. I was like, oh, okay.
I thought of Josh.
I was thinking, like, I wonder if Josh could pick this one out as the Clash. I wasn't sure how deep it actually went to where you could hear him and pick them out. But I heard it, and it was definitely, you popped in my head. I was like, I wonder what that fool's doing. I don't know. I was like, I wonder what he was doing right now.
Yeah, I like the Clash too, so I enjoyed seeing it pop up.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah,
I like when he says it felt good to be in a woman's room again, especially a woman who wasn't comatose or severely disabled.
That does feel like a huge statement.
Yeah. No, I really like the dude. It was like the security dude in the hospital. I can't remember his name.
Oh, bro, he might be my favorite character in the whole movie.
Don't make me take my glasses off.
Like right at the beginning of the movie, I think he had one of the best lines of the whole movie.
I don't remember what he said.
What Josh just said.
Don't make me take my glasses off.
Oh, yeah. No, dude, so I was going to say this a minute ago. I'm glad that it popped back in my head. Josh, you had said that you had watched it late at night. No, I didn't watch it late at night. I watched it this afternoon. But I went to bed kind of late, and then I woke up at 8 o'clock to go get some things done before that interview today. So I woke up way earlier, but I went to bed a little later too. So I didn't get a lot of sleep. So when I was watching it this afternoon, I was like, for about right in the middle of the movie, I was like sitting like this. And then I noticed that I went, and I was still kind of watching it, but I was listening to it, and I was in that little space in between dreams, and I was like, am I dreaming? And then my mom knocked on my door and was like, hey, and I was like, oh, what? Oh, man. And I had to pause it and like rewind it about 10 minutes. But I was in this little zone too where, honestly, I think if I had just chilled in that little spot for a while, I'd have been like, man, I don't know what I took, but it was awesome.
It's got that sort of dreamy haze and like glaring lights and shit.
Yeah, everything had that's my one complaint about it, is that I don't like the visual. I hated it, but otherwise, whatever.
Man, I really, really liked it.
I did too.
Like the copy I watched looked pretty terrible.
I quit.
I don't know. I got to see where Josh could like it because I could see what Scorsese was probably going for. I think it does have a bad like Blu-ray transfer. So
there's no Blu-ray.
I watched it on a DVD, and
there's no Blu-ray.
I thought it looked stupid, but of course that means Josh loved it.
Well, it gives up how I watched it.
How the hell is there no Blu-ray of this movie? It's Martin Scorsese and Nicolas Cage.
I didn't even think about that, Chris.
because one does exist somewhere.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah, I guess so.
Malaysia.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, it just didn't look good.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's probably why, because they never got a proper Blu-ray transfer. It was just some crappy.
It didn't look actively bad on my DVD. Like I didn't look at it and go, "Oh, I just didn't like it." Like it didn't look bad, but I wasn't a fan of that hazy
aesthetically.
Look.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah,
I get not liking the aesthetic choice. I think there's a big purpose.
What did you like about it? Like, what was your reasoning behind liking it?
It's just it's the whole surreality of the whole movie. Like it's putting everyone in this like heavenly spotlight. Like everyone's sort of glowing. He's in this like other reality sort of, and he's dealing with this sort of religious struggle within himself too.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, he said like after he didn't necessarily save her at the beginning, but like he said he got this glow.
Yeah.
From whatever happened at the beginning of the movie with the guy having a heart attack and all that stuff. So
yeah, when something good happens, you just feel this glow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it makes perfect sense.
That's silly, but I was like, yeah. But I did note it that I wasn't enjoying that. It's so fucking obnoxious that you liked it, though.
Well, I like things that are like that have like a specific, like they're a specific choice for a specific reason. Like it has a storytelling purpose to it. I definitely pick out different shit than you pick out. That's been established for a while now. I just was like, I don't know why in my head it didn't. I thought about that while watching it, like, man, I don't like that. And then when you brought it, I was like, oh yeah, I didn't like that. And you're like, oh, I really did. I'm like, of course you did. Like, I think it gets more extreme as it goes along, I think
it does too.
Because they're like it's like a Dark Night of the Soul type of thing. Like they're going through Dante's Inferno. Like he's
so cool.
Like each day it feels like things just get wackier and wackier until he's
there was like washed out colors and stuff like that toward the end. I think
I thought it was funny. His boss was always like, "I'll fire you tomorrow. I'll fire you tomorrow. Like just go." Get on the van with this annoying guy. I'll fire you.
Don't we all need a boss like that? I'll fire you later. We're like, all right, I guess.
Well, what I got from that is like he's still the dependable one, even though he shows up late all the time. No one wants to do this job anymore.
And like Ving Rhames, everything he says,
I can count on to maybe be here.
Everything Ving Rhames says on the PA is like sexual harassment. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, man, none of that shit would fly. Like, there's no way about, okay, baby, we're on the way. Like, no.
Yeah, first when he started talking about like Jesus and all that stuff, I thought it was just going to be like some weird little put on or something he was doing. But I mean, I
know like 50 people like that, bro. Like they're like heavily religious, but they also smoke, drink, and curse a bunch. And I'm like, this is really weird. Like,
yeah, people justify it. I thought that that scene where I forget the guy's weird name, but they do this like Ving Rhames, he does this weird prayer for him. He's like trying to bring him back to life, and there's like a church sermon. Yeah.
It was some like weird dumb name.
Low Jack or something.
I was trying to figure out if during that spot was he trying to fool with them into thinking that he was actually being able to pull some stuff, and were they tricking him, or was he just talking shit so they would be distracted so Nic Cage could do the Narcan? Because I feel like it had to be one or the other. It wasn't both.
I think he was trying to attribute their, he was trying to give them some semblance of spirituality. They were in a club, they're taking drugs, they're overdosing. They like have no direction in life, I guess, and as far as he was concerned. So he was trying to like create a situation where they saw like good and evil, and they were saved by the Lord, where in reality they were saved by Nicolas Cage's EMT skills.
And I do think he was kind of distracting them from just what was going on.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't really think about that at the time.
He's trying to raise their spirits a little bit while he's like down there actually saving his life.
But it's like he knew that it would work out. Like he knew that they were going to save this ODing kid.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, back then there wasn't the fentanyl stuff, so like the option of Narcan not working was slim to none. I've seen people Narcan. I've seen them done. I've seen it done intravenously. I've seen it done with a thing up in their nose. And back then, there was no such thing as a fentanyl problem. So like, it would be written right into the script. Yeah, and he knows it's going to happen because it's going to happen. So nowadays, I've actually heard stories recently where Narcan was getting hit on these kids 3 times and they were still not coming back. And that to me is like, I don't even understand that. But like, yeah, back then it probably was pretty much you do that and he's coming back because they weren't having the same problems that we have now. Anyways,
his name was I.B. Bangin'.
There you go.
Right.
I'd be banging.
Did you know that Larry Fessenden was in this movie? From
I don't know who that is.
Have you guys seen Habit? It's like kind of a New Yorky, kind of grimy.
I don't think I've seen that one, but I know what.
Oh crap!
What you're talking about?
Wait, hold on. Have I seen that?
Habit.
So anyway, Larry Fessenden
yeah.
is kind of like a New York indie icon, if you will. He made that movie Habit, and it hit it off pretty good. And you know, he's like an indie movie guy in New York. And I didn't really notice him, but I saw him on the cast here.
Yeah, I feel like I saw him, maybe on the street somewhere or something. But
the nuns were a trip too. So the nun's name is Sister Fetus. And she's got that dangling fetus around her neck.
Yeah.
She's always talking crazy. I was like, man, this movie has so many layers of like spiritual kind of weird examinations of beliefs, and I'm God, or I'm not the fire and brimstone God today. I'm the saving God. It's just such a trip.
Yeah.
That Habit movie is on Tubi. I think I may have to give that a watch.
I've heard good things about that one.
It's
Yeah. No. Yeah.
It's a little philosophical, I think, but it's good, It's just a little slower. It's an indie movie, kind of a New Yorkie.
I've watched lots of that stuff and liked lots of that stuff. I just prefer shit movies. So
is it like what was that Abel Ferrara movie? The Habit. No, The Habit, or no, not The Habit. The Addiction. The Addiction.
Was that Abel Ferrara?
Yeah, that was Abel Ferrara.
Yeah, it's a lot like Addiction. It's kind of New Yorky, kind of grimy, kind of in the gutters, bar life.
Yeah, that was my pick like a few months ago. The black and white Abel Ferrara movies, vampire movie.
That's right.
Real slow, and you didn't like it.
Yeah, sounds about right.
How did I watch that movie then? I feel like I thought we did it on the podcast or something.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
we did.
Habit, not.
Habit. I don't know. I don't know.
We watch a lot of stuff.
Coincidentally, that's my pick for this week. No, I'm playing. Dude, how funny would that be if that was a movie that I somehow stumbled upon? It was like, oh, actually, yeah, we're gonna watch that.
That would be a trip. I would think we were separated at birth or something.
Right. Well, I really do enjoy this movie a lot, and it's so far removed from what I think of as a Scorsese movie. But he's got a bunch of movies like that you don't realize are his movies because he's so well known for doing one kind of movie that like oftentimes you'll just kind of forget he does all kinds of stuff. At least that happens to me anyways. I forget all the time that he does like a lot of different stuff. So
yeah,
he's done just about every genre.
Yeah, like I just not too long ago I watched the one. What's the one about the priest that goes to
Silence?
Japan? Yeah, the Silence. That one's pretty good, but it's again not what you would think a Scorsese movie. I mean, it's just
he's
a pretty
done
drama.
Several religious epics too.
Yeah,
he's done Last Temptation of Christ and Kundun.
Isn't he your favorite director?
Yeah, I mean him or Paul Thomas Anderson. Yeah, those are.
So, why did you pick this movie?
I just kind of picked this one out of the blue. I knew this one that Chris hadn't seen it, and it seemed like a happy medium for everybody. I hadn't seen it for a long time. It's Paul Schrader, the guy that did Taxi Driver, and he had a new movie come out pretty recently, so it was kind of on my mind. And then I was like, Bring Out the Dead. Everybody likes Nic Cage, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's also this.
Bring out your dad.
It has the last. Hughes talked about getting like the last VHS stuff before, so Bringing Out the Dead has the last laser disc. So it's one of the more sought after laser discs.
Oh snap!
I've kind of had I've had my eye on it a little bit, but I'd never seen it, so I never really pulled the trigger on it. But I was like, Scorsese and Nicolas Cage, like, it can't be terrible. But yeah, now I'm probably gonna have to go track it down.
I've thought about getting it too. Yeah, it's pretty
laser
cool.
disc, Josh?
Dang!
Yeah,
289, 600, 250, 500, 500.
it's the last
500.
laser disc, of course.
It pops up for more reasonable prices every now and then.
Wow!
But yeah, a lot of them are pretty crazy.
Hey, yeah, you know, they always have that long shot bid that stays on eBay for 7 years.
Dude, a lot of people do that kind of stuff on eBay. But, well, I don't think there's a whole lot else to talk about with Bringing Out the Dead. Unless there's anything else you guys want to touch on. We kind of covered all of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Anybody watch anything else this week that was good? Dude, has anybody else seen The Flash? Anybody else suffered through that garbage yet?
No, I didn't.
Nope.
Oh, man, I'm so jealous. Dude, I was at the theater yesterday, and I see two people that I've known for longer than I've known all of y'all. And I was like, oh! I run up, and I'm not going to put their names out there because I'm not that mean of a guy. But I was like, dude, and Bro Sancho, what's going on? And I'm like, what are y'all watching? They're like, The Flash. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And then they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh, did you like it? And then dude goes, it might be the best DC movie I've ever seen. Definitely my favorite movie of the year.
That's insane.
This movie is such trash, dude.
I don't need to see it to know it's not the best. I mean,
no,
come on.
It is not.
Yeah,
bro, I don't and it's getting like this weird like split where people are either loving it or they're hating it. And I've seen a lot of both, and I don't understand the love of it because it's. I mean, dude, this is so far worse than Aquaman. Like Aquaman, I can at least go, okay, I was being stupid with this part about it. It's at least got some fun action. But dude, everything about this movie was bad, and so I was just really surprised when he said that he really liked it. And I was like, I couldn't tell him for a minute. I was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah.
How did you think Ezra Miller did? I mean, he
was terrible. Dude's trash, bro.
1 star.
I mean,
I given it 1 turd. I would have because that's what it is. 1 big fat turd.
I mean, I hated him in Justice League, but it seems like people have had this weird like turnaround with like specifically the Snyder stuff after the Snyder cut got released and all that. Like people just kind of like flipped and just started loving all these DC movies for whatever reason. And now they kind of get putting up on this weird pedestal. There's this group of people on the internet that just will pretty much praise everything DC does. I feel like
probably
because
Marvel starved.
Well, I think they like it's just these weird DC fanboys that just everything Marvel sucks. Everything DC is awesome. So yes, Flash, DC is awesome. Like
I can agree that a lot of Marvel stuff sucks, but that doesn't mean DC stuff's good.
People like creating cults, like where everyone else is excluded. Oh, you guys just don't understand it. Or
that's true.
You know, like they just, you know, they latch onto these things that other people shit on, and they're like, no, it's actually good. And so, you know,
I will say that at one point in the movie, I literally thought, okay, is this so bad that I might like it? And then I was like, no, it's not even that kind of bad. Like, it's just, I was so pissed off when I was watching it. Like, in the first 10 minutes, I was like, oh, no, I shouldn't have come watch this. Like, I knew immediately because the way he acts in that movie is so cornball, dude. It's just the absolute, dude, he looks so stupid in that costume too, bro. Like the costume does not do anybody any service in that movie. Like that does, it's a bad costume.
I mean, and most of it's all CG, right?
Oh, is it? I don't know. It looks like it might be plastic or something.
Yeah, like I think I was reading something, and I think they just like added it in at some point because I don't know.
Wow.
Just doing reshoots or whatever it was. Again, I haven't seen it.
And I guess it's in the trailer too, but where he's fixed to start running and he goes,
yeah, that's stupid. They were doing that in the Justice League.
The most Oh, were they really?
Yeah,
Well,
like
They're like, well, this sucks. Let's put some CGI in there. Spruce it up.
the CG in this movie is the worst CG that I might have ever seen. Because some of the movies that I've watched that have technically worse, they have like no budget.
Yeah.
This doesn't have an excuse. It's got a ton of money behind it. So like,
I was hearing people call it the Polar Express third act because it's just like...
dude, I mean, it looks like a human real time like live action movie with like a Pixar movie laid on top of it. And you're like, I don't understand what's going. Dude, I really want y'all to watch part of it just so I can go, dude, look at Batman, because it's insane how bad he looks, dude. Like Ben Affleck, first off, he's in terrible shape in this, but like the suit looks terrible. Like it's wild, bro. It's almost bad enough to where I want to get all of us together and watch it so we can just talk crap about it.
Yeah.
What if I like it?
Then I won't be your friend anymore.
I'm afraid if I like it, I'll be too scared to speak up.
No, you should tell me if you like it. I need to know these things about people that I care about, dude.
I told Randy I liked Aquaman, and we fought about it for like a year.
Dude, we really did argue about that for a long time.
And I didn't even like say I loved it. I was just like, yeah, it was a fun, silly adventure movie. And he was like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I'd like to say, dude, that movie is pretty terrible.
It's a pretty fun, silly adventure
It's not
movie.
as bad as The Flash, though. Like, I fully have to go back and rewatch the Aquaman movie so I can go. Although it's got Amber Heard in it, dude. I don't know which one's worse, man. Like, she is so bad. But, yeah, this movie was a big disappointment. I watched a few other things. I watched She-Borg, which I got to rewatch because I don't understand. I don't know what is happening with that one. Y'all should all three avoid that movie with every fiber of your being because I don't think even Chris would even get entertained by that one.
I think I will.
Well, when I watched the trailer, I was like, okay, this could be fun for somebody that likes the stuff I like. And then I watched it, and I was like, wait a minute. That trailer was cut perfectly, dude, because it got me hyped, and it is not what that movie's like. And I was like, ooh, they got me with this one, bro. It was like, I don't mind getting got sometimes, though. It was like, oh, shit. I mean, it is like black and white, bro. It is the opposite. It is nothing like the trailer. Oh, man, like, I don't even know how they justified getting that trailer like out and going, yeah, let's put this out as to get people interested in this, because I guarantee you a lot of people are going to be like, what is happening right now? Anyways, I watched Judgment Night, bro. That movie was awesome.
I think that is the movie I was thinking of. It has like the banging soundtrack with like Slayer and Ice-T and
Wait,
Ice
what?
Cube.
Does it have that?
Yeah.
Oh, it might.
They
I don't
had
remember
like
the
a
trailer. I don't
big.
remember the soundtrack very much. The movie was just super fun, man. Lots of tension. It was scarier than most horror movies I've watched. Dennis Leary's awesome. So, I mean, he's a great bad guy.
Dennis Leary. Yeah.
I like Dennis Leary.
Yeah.
I've never seen that though. I might have to check
I
that out.
watched
These kids in my
Spider-Verse.
store just popped it in and said, you should watch this. And I bought a copy. Oh, yeah, man. How'd you like that
Spider-Verse
one?
was good. I liked it a lot. I thought it was awesome. I mean, the visual stuff, the animation just blew me away. I kind of dozed off in it for like 3 seconds.
I don't even understand how you did that. That movie is too, it's too like active for me to fall asleep in.
Man, it's a little surfacey. Like the plot is the same old, like my dad did it, my uncle did it. Or saving the family kind of shit. I mean,
it's a comic book.
Though.
Yeah,
it's a comic book.
Yeah, but I
It was
think
good.
that
It was really
they
good.
kind of acknowledge it though, that it is just a typical Spider-Man story that every Spider-Man goes.
but it's told in a way that's pretty substantial, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It's very artistic. It was very good.
Yeah.
so I think it's self-aware enough that at least I give it a bit of a pass for being generic in that sense. That it's at least acknowledged.
I thought that the first one had a better story, but the second one was way more like interactive. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I watched one other thing.
I had one.
What'd you watch, Chris?
I watched Punk Samurai.
Hell yeah.
Did you watch that one yet?
No, is it good? Oh shit.
It wasn't bad. But I don't know if I would say it was good either. Like, it started off pretty cool, and then like the whole middle, they just get into all this story stuff, and the story is just just dumb, and they go back and forth. It's just a lot of dialogue and talking. It's really not what I was in for. And then like in the end, it goes freaking wacky and it gets kind of fun again. So
that's how all of those movies are, dude. They're all pretty cool at the beginning, have a lot of weird nonsensical dialogue crap in the middle, and then the last like 30 minutes are just bananas. Yeah. Every one of these movies that I've watched are exactly like that.
Yeah, so watch the first 30 minutes and then the last 30 minutes.
Let's go.
Is it one of those shot on videos like Randy's?
No. I found this big group of movies that I wanted him to make me a long time ago. We just never got around to it. It's all this like Japanese punk rock stuff. And it's I think it's like one or two different directors. It's not many different people involved. It's a lot of it's this one guy.
Yeah, all the ones I gave you were just one guy. So it's the same guy.
Okay. Huh. Okay, yeah.
The same guy that did Crazy Thunder Road, Electric
Dragon. Yeah. And those two were I thought those two were like amazing. Have you watched those two yet? Have you watched Electric Dragon?
I watched Crazy Thunder Road.
Okay, what'd you think about that one?
I liked it.
Okay. That's like a 9.95 out of 10 for me. But I also understand where it falls short. Whereas like somebody like Josh, I would expect you to probably like it, but I don't see how you'd possibly give it as high the grade as I give it. But I'd be a little surprised if you absolutely hated it. Now, Electric Dragon, I'm not so sure you're going to like that one. I'm really curious as to what you think on that one, Chris, because I watched it the other day as well, and I was like, okay, there's like two parts in it that I absolutely don't understand why they're in it, and I certainly don't understand why they're as long as they are. But it's a pretty, I don't know, kind of a cool little Frankenstein meets, I don't know. A lot of his stuff has got old horror movie things that he's pulled out of it and been like, he probably really liked the Universal Monsters stuff, like the old school Frankenstein, Mummy, Dracula, because all that stuff is in his movies in these weird little layers, because it's not really a movie like that, but you can see aspects of it in there.
Yeah, but it's only, the Electric Dragon's only like 60, 70 minutes or something.
That's like that. A super short movie, which is why those two parts I don't understand, because they're very long parts, and I don't understand why that took up so much of the runtime to do that. But I really, those movies are staying in my collection indefinitely. And I watched Psycho Goreman on Father's Day. That was my family movie. We watched Psycho Goreman together, and Bricken and Charlie were like, because they didn't want to watch it for some reason. They were like, I don't think it's going to be very good. And we were like, what? And I was like, Bricken, out of all the stuff that you watch with me, this isn't. And then at the end of it, they were both like jumping around, screaming, singing the songs. I was like, let's go.
I see the VHS right behind your head, too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's the big box. Yeah, I don't have very many big boxes. I got 3. But that was an important one, man. I love that movie.
Sweet.
Dude. Yeah. All right. So, speaking of Psycho Goreman, I was going to say, I know we've already watched it on the show. I don't really care. It's been a while. I felt like maybe watching The Void again. Is there any strict objections to that? Because he was wearing the shirt the other day when I saw him, and I was like, man, The Void. So I had 2 picks. So I wanted to throw that out there, see how, get the temperature of the room, or The Jacket, a movie that I haven't seen in a very long time, and I keep wanting to watch it, and I remember it being pretty good and dark. What do you guys think? Which one would y'all rather watch?
Yeah, I've seen The Jacket. It's been I think I watched it back in the day when it came out.
It's been so long since I've watched this, I just barely remember just liking it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since, so I've been wanting to rewatch The Void.
Okay, what do you vote? How do you feel, Josh?
I'm fine with The Void.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that movie.
The Void it is. We'll do The Jacket another time.
It was probably one of our first episodes, wasn't it?
It's been a long time, dude, since we talked about it. But I knew we had. I was like, man, this has been like we're getting to the point to where we're 6-7 months into having Hugh on the show. We can start doing some like old repeats if we need to, because he wasn't involved, and we've gotten better as just a crew of people talking about it. So, I mean, we're just hanging out anyways. If people don't want to watch it because we've already talked about it for a few minutes, then okay. Yeah. I'm not going to be sad about it.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think we're at the point where we can start throwing some other ones back in.
Sure.
Oh man, I was thinking about doing like Terrifier again. No, I'm playing. No, I have
How many times have I seen that movie?
I have a whole other crew of people now that I'm going to be doing the podcast with, like in between, like once every 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Shit.
That we're going to be doing stuff like. No, it's just people from work that wanted to jump on and talk with me about stuff, and I haven't been able to put the one with Kenna up yet because my computer went kaput, so I haven't been able to edit it. But
sitting right there.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm so excited to get it back and try to work on it. But with those guys, we're not doing them live. We're just going to record them, and so I can pull clips and stuff too. But we're going to watch stuff like Terrifier, things that you guys don't really care about watching again. So I'm psyched to be doing it. It gives me a little bit of both worlds. I get more of for lack of a better term, highbrow, stuff over here, and we get to go schlocky horror almost every time we do a video with those guys. So, but also, dude, the voice. It's been a hot minute. I'm ready to watch this with the lights down low and the volume turned up, bro.
Yeah, I've been wanting to rewatch it a bunch. I've almost put it on a couple of times and just.
Me too.
Did.
Especially after I watched Malum, I was like, man, I kind of want to go watch The Void again because I feel like The Void's no disrespect to anybody, but it's a far superior movie. Yeah, but it's got a lot of the same vibes.
Yeah,
I agree. And I actually had that thought too after watching Malum. But
I'm gonna do The Void block print. I'm working on the Terrifier one, but I had to pause it so we can move. I don't want to get to where I'm in the middle of something like that and then have to pack it all in. So I paused it, but I'm gonna design something for a cloaked person with a triangle face. It'll be pretty simple, but I'm gonna do some cosmic shit in the back, maybe a tentacle or something, and I'm gonna just see what happens with that. But it's gonna be a pretty difficult undertaking, I would imagine.
I will say I get a lot of weird vibes with that shirt on, the Void shirt.
That's awesome.
People look at me like I'm up to no good.
Every time I show somebody,
and they're right.
Every time I show somebody my logo, I get the same vibe from them because it's always the triangle with the circle and I've been asked, "Is that Illuminati?" so many times that makes me so happy inside because that's exactly why I did that.
It's very conspiracy, secret society looking. That's what makes it badass, though. That's what you want.
I agree. Yeah, no, that's exactly. I intentionally did all that. It just happened to fit 31 really well. So I was like, dude, let's do it. Hell yeah, man. Well,
awesome.
Hang up quite yet, fellas. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. I'll see you guys in a week, maybe a week and a half. Here soon, we're going to take a 2 or 3 week pause because I'm moving. And that's going to be a humongous undertaking because we have a very large amount of things in this house. So, but this one should be on time next week and we'll watch it. And then we'll probably take a couple of weeks off for the end of the summer and to get my house moved. But I'll do a little bit of video stuff for the move and I'll try to vlog some of it and show you guys as I create the new office because it's going to be it's a much bigger room. It's a 50% larger room, which is pretty incredible. But I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet because I have less space otherwise. So it'll be interesting. I already have a screen print station set up. It's going to be fun. But we will see you guys next time. I don't have my schedule yet, so I don't know what day, but probably Tuesday. So
okay,
cool,
awesome. Have a good week, everybody. We'll see you next time.